Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my 24-hour Halloween reading vlog. Readathon reading vlog. Readathon reading vlog? Sure, something like that. 24 hours, it's Halloween tomorrow. Today is October 30th. It is currently 20 minutes from 8, and I just wanted to start this vlog, introduce the books that I'm going to be reading in this vlog, that kind of a thing. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start reading physically, probably around 9ish, and I'm going to go to 9 o'clock tomorrow night as well, just so I have time each of the nighttime hours to actually read, because I read mostly at night. And I also, because it's Halloween tomorrow, I would like to watch maybe Hocus Pocus or like a Halloweeny movie at the end of the night, so that'll be super fun. But yes, so it is almost 8 o'clock, and I have options for audiobooks and physical books, which is amazing. So the game plan, if you remember one of my other, I think it was my last reading vlog, I mentioned two of the books that I'm hopefully going to be reading: Halloween Party by Agatha Christie and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. These are my two physical books that I have, that I'm like little books that I'm kind of determined to get to. And then we have, as audiobook form, we have the Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury, as well as The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde. Those are both, I believe, like less than 2 hours long. Maybe. The Halloween Tree might be close to 4. I cannot quite remember, but if I can listen to them on like double time speed, I will get through them quickly. So I have these, and then I also have two novels that I would like to like either finish the one, because I am slightly over halfway through, and then possibly start the other because it is spooky and I want to get to it. So that first one is The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. This is giving me all the fall vibes, all the witchy vibes that I want. This is what I wanted Practical Magic to be. It is so good. And I am currently on page 283 of, I believe, 507. I'm not entirely sure. It's interesting because as I'm reading this, I also have the audiobook, but the audiobook has extra chapters and it's slightly different. Like there's sentences or like parts of paragraphs that are missing from the text but are in the audiobook, and I'm very confused about that. I don't know if this, because this is a Canadian copy, maybe the American version has the full, all the chapters and all that, not entirely sure, but I'm enjoying it either way. It's very enjoyable. 10 out of 10, loving it so much. So I would like to maybe get to the end of that. I believe I have 3 hours left of the audiobook because I'm listening to it on Libro FM, and it's telling me at the speed that I'm listening to it at, I have 3 hours left. So probably 6 hours left of the audiobook, 3 hours of listening time. And then my other one I got in the mail last week is Dracul, which is the official prequel to Dracula. It's written by Decray Stoker and J.D. Barker, and I'm so excited about this. I love Dracula. It is one of my favorite classics, and this just feels like the perfect time of year to listen to this. I also have the audiobook for this, so when I'm ready to dive in, I will, but I won't dive into this until I am done The Witches of New York. So this is like a definite just maybe. If anything, it would be reading it tomorrow. But I think first and foremost, I am going to paint my nails. I'm deciding on either doing all orange or orange and blue or all three colors. Probably all three colors. I'm into that like tricolor look on your nails, multicolored look. So I'm gonna go do that, and I think if I can't find anything to watch on YouTube or anything, I think I'm gonna start a Halloween Party by Agatha Christie because it is slightly bigger, and I do have the audiobook on my phone. So I have all the audiobooks basically, so many, and I have access to The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as audiobook form as well. This is going to be a reread for me because, as you can tell, I read it for university and studied it and tabbed it up, so that would be kind of fun to go back through and see my notes. So I don't know, but yes, I think my goal for tonight is the Halloween Tree. I'm excited. But yes, welcome to my 24-hour readathon vlog. Let's get this started. Alright, it is now 9:04. I looked at the clock as I was coming downstairs and it was 9 o'clock already. I was like, what? How is it already 9? I was just watching a YouTube video. But my nails are done. I'm low-key regretting the blue. It's not the look I wanted to go for, but I still don't mind it. Just wanted a more orangey Halloweeny look, but with the blue it kind of cools it right off. Oh well, it's fun. So yeah, I am going to now get into bed, possibly crochet, start the audiobook for Halloween party, and have a party myself. It's gonna be a great time. But yeah, from 9 o'clock today till 9 o'clock tomorrow, it's Halloween Central.
Harper Audio presents Halloween Party by Agatha Christie, performed by Hugh Fraser.
Mrs. Ariadne Oliver had gone with the friend with whom she was staying, Judith Butler, to help with the preparations for a children's party, which was to take place that same evening.
Hey guys, I don't know if the audio is going to be different because it's coming through my headphones, but we're going to try it this way today. I'm 53% of the way through the Halloween Party by Agatha Christie, and a few things. One, it's not as creepy as I wanted it to be. Two, the misogyny and the blatant sexism is a lot, which is very surprising to me, seeing this as this was written by a woman. But like the first part of the book where they're talking about the murder and like trying to figure stuff out, it's just talking about how girls make wrong decisions and it's like their fault they get hurt, and I'm like, no, there's a little bit of victim blaming in here, which is not cool. Other than that, I have no idea where this is going because there's so many unsolved cases that are being brought into this murder simply because this 13-year-old girl who was murdered said that she had witnessed a murder when she was younger, and like nobody believes her except for Poirot, the guy who's figuring it out. I don't know what's going on, but this like doesn't feel like the Agatha Christie that I've read before, which was And Then There Were None, which was so good. The plot of that one was so intricately done, and it kept you on your toes the whole time because there was just so many different murders going on, and you didn't know who was going to be next, and you didn't know who was the murderer. This one, at least, I'm intrigued to see where it's going, but right now it's kind of sitting at a 2-star, which is so sad. I did not want to start this readathon off with a bad one. It doesn't have any Halloween vibes. The Halloween vibes were just the first few pages at the party, and even then they weren't great vibes. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going. I have like less than 2 hours left, or less than an hour and a half left. I'd have to check, but I'm gonna keep going, and I will let you know what I feel when I'm done. And just like that, my friends, it is now midnight, and I finished Agatha Christie's Halloween Party, and I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed in it. It was so ridiculously complex, and there was like 4 other murders in the past that were all connected to this murder, and there was just like, I didn't understand what was going on until the very last page. I was like, I don't get it, and then even then I was like, I still don't get it. So that was fun. I could have done without the misogyny and the sexism. Not a good time. I'm giving that like 2.5 stars because it was enjoyable, and the ending did have like a an amp up point, but it was so much for so little of a book. It wasn't great. Whilst I was doing that, I got the inkling to read a graphic novel. I don't have a graphic novel that is witchy that I haven't read. I have Mooncakes that I read last year, but wasn't in the mood to read it again this year, so I was like, what can I do now that it is midnight? And I bought Beetle and the Hollow Bones by Eliza Lane, and it looks super cute. One of my like local stores here on Twitter had like a thread of witchy graphic novels that were good for kids around this time of year, so I was like, I saved a few of them, and this one I'm going to try. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, but I will update you on this one when I'm done. So I just finished Beetle and the Hollow Bones, and it was so cute. I got all emotional at the end. It was one of those reads, I don't know if it's because it's 1 a.m. or that I'm like, it was actually like super cute and emotional, but I'm giving that one 4 stars for sure. It's up there with Mooncakes for me. It was so good, and the art style, incredibly gorgeous. Like, I would love to see that in physical copy one day. Oh, so good and perfect for this time of year. Oh, amazing. But anyways, I'm now gonna go to sleep, and I think my game plan for tomorrow is to finish up the Witches of New York, that's the book's name, then listen to The Canterville Ghost, then do possibly A Strange Case, and then The Halloween Tree, something like that. I'm not sure, but a lot of those will like take like maybe an hour to read, so it won't be that long, but I'm enjoying myself immensely, and I'm gonna go to bed. So I will see you in the morning. That's very bright. Why is it so bright? There we go. Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday. Happy Halloween. Freshly showered, as you can tell, and I'm going to continue reading. I've already listened to about 10 minutes of The Canterville Ghost, which I'm going to continue listening to, and then once I'm done that one, I'm going to dive into the remainder of The Witches of New York and keep going. So it's gonna be a good day, I can just tell. But right now I need coffee and something in my stomach because I'm hungry. Alright, so it is now around noon. Please ignore my absolutely atrocious hair. I don't know what happened today. We're just trying to let it dry. And I finished The Canterville Ghost, and it was so weird. Which, like, I didn't expect any less, because it's Oscar Wilde, and Oscar Wilde just has a sass about him that I love. But I ended up giving that short story, I think, 3 stars. It wasn't, like, great. It was just funny, because it was a ghost who haunts this, like, old home in England, and has for years like terrorized people, for like centuries terrorized people. An American family moves in, and like the tables turn, and he's the one who's terrorized. Like, it's wild, and it ends really in an interesting way. But I'm excited to talk about it at book club, because it's just weird and so Oscar Wilde it hurts. But anyways, now I'm gonna go upstairs. I think I'm gonna take my blanket with me and do some crocheting, and I'm gonna listen to The Witches of New York. Hey friends, This is such a weird angle. Also, you can see my absolutely disastrous hair. I don't know what happened after my shower today, but like everything's not good. Everything's bad. Everything's terrible. And I look like an old gnome. Everything's terrible. What is this? Anyways, besides my disastrously terrible hair today, I finished The Witches of New York. Let me fix this. I finished it. And I loved it so much. 5 stars. 5 stars all the way. This is what I wanted Practical Magic to be when I read it last year or 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago now. This is everything. So it follows 3 witches who live in New York around the time of like kind of like really late 1800s. I believe it's late 1800s. When does this start? Yeah, late 1800s, in 1880. It starts in September of 1880, so it's like very fall. It has all the fall vibes. It follows these witches and their like witchy exploits, and there's a reverend in the city who's being like coerced by demons to find and kill witches. And it's just so good because one of the witches, Beatrice, she comes to the city around the same time that the Cleopatra's Needle, the obelisk in New York, was being delivered to New York, and something happens and she goes to this tea shop where there was a job posting that she's looking for, and she wants the job. She wants to live in the city, and so she goes, and the night before, one of the other witches, Eleanor, has a dream the night before about this girl, and she just sees her face, and that's how she gets hired, which is so fun because then after that Beatrice, the girl who comes, starts being able to see ghosts, and it's just so good. It is delightful and has enough stakes, and it just keeps you going. I don't even know, guys, and it's weird. I'm really angry with my hair right now. It's not doing what I want it to do. I hate it. Also, I'm still confused about the fact that the audiobook has extra chapters and like changed bits. So if any of you live in the United States and you have a United States copy, can you turn to the chapter? Where is it? So it's the Waning Gibbous Moon. It's just past page 116 for me. Right before A Note on Wayward Ghosts. If there is a chapter that comes right after this that is not A Note on Wayward Ghosts, please tell me, because there was one in the audiobook and there's not one in my book. Very angry. Anyways, I'm glad I listened to the audiobook as well because the narrator was really good and it was just a great time. Then I went right into The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I got like a few pages in and I decided I'm just not in the mood for this. I don't really want to reread this classic today. Don't know why. Just not in the mood. So I'm not going to force myself to read it, and instead I'm going to dive in to Dracula because this is what I'm feeling. I think it's what I'm feeling. I'm going to be spending the next little bit reading this, and as soon as it starts getting dark out, I think I'm going to listen to The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury because I feel like that's going to be a great way to end this readathon, to kind of like wrap up this whole Halloweeny day. So yes, I'm gonna go back upstairs and start Dracula. is now 8:24 at night, and I did not even realize that it was 8 o'clock yet. How this day went so fast, I don't know. I ended up cooking dinner and having a time trying to cook it. For some reason, I have just been very clumsy this weekend, and I dropped the pasta, freshly boiled, all finished. Like as I was draining it in the sink, I dropped it into the sink, making it unusable because we had chicken in there earlier, so we couldn't use the pasta that dropped into the contaminated sink. And so we had to wait an extra like 10 minutes for more to boil. I was so sad about it. I was like, of course, right by the end, everything goes wrong. And then we didn't get many kids. I think we got surprisingly more kids than I thought we were gonna get, because we are literally having a snowstorm tonight and it is gross outside and pandemic. So I was like, we're not gonna get any kids. We did get some though. We got, I think, like 12 or something, which is pretty decent. Not all of them were wearing masks, which I blame the parents. Some of them were, which was great, and some of them were wearing masks that like matched their costume, which was really cute. They were all freezing. Their poor faces that I could see were like beet red from the wind, and I was like, you're brave. The things kids do for candy, but it's fine. And then I've been playing Animal Crossing, because Animal Crossing tonight has like the Halloween special thing, so that's super fun because you get to go around like trick-or-treating to people and give people candy and stuff like that, and it's a good time. You get a bunch of gifts if you bring them back to Jack Skellington, and really fun. And I've been listening to the audiobook of Dracul, and I'm currently on page 66 because apparently I have the audiobook set for really slow. I think I looked at it and it's like 1.4 or something, so I have to speed it up eventually, but I'm enjoying that. And I'm now going to, I think, listen to the Halloween Tree to finish up this readathon. So whenever I'm finished the Halloween Tree, that'll be when I'm done this readathon. I know I said I went from like 9 to 9, but we'll extend it a little bit because I have the evening then, or I have the rest of the night to do fun stuff. But I'm excited to keep going with Dracul into November because it just has this spooky vibe that I'm loving. Like, we already, from word go, we have Bram, who is the author of Dracula, obviously, Bram, and it's like a story of him and stuff like that. So really cool that Decree Stoker, his like great nephew or something, took all of Bram's notes from when he wrote Dracula and wrote this prequel, because there's rumors and beliefs around Dracula and the writing of Dracula that like Bram originally had written this as like a true story, and his publisher was like, no, we can't publish it as a true story. Jack the Ripper is tearing everybody up right now. We don't need more terror. And he's like, fine, publish it as fiction. And he like distributed different editions around the world to get his like message out or something, his warning about this pure evil. So this is about the notes that Decree Stoker has, I guess, or like the Stoker family has from Bram Stoker's writing on Dracula. So like his life, Bram Stoker's life, a fictionalized version of Bram Stoker's life. But it's interesting because we already have like a vampiric figure, not yet confirmed as vampire, but like from reading Dracula, same things happening, sleeping in dirt, you know. Spooky vibes are here and I'm loving it. But for now, I'm gonna read the Halloween Tree and I'm gonna do some crocheting or continue playing Animal Crossing, either one. But I'm just enjoying my Halloween a lot. Oh, and I have, of course, some leftover Halloween candy because we have so much leftover Halloween candy. It's crazy. We honestly just buy it for ourselves. Like that's what it is. We buy so much and we don't usually get that many kids here, so we're just like, for us. Hi guys. It is now just after 10 and I have finished the Halloween Tree. That audiobook I could listen to at like 2.6 speed because it was just narrated in a way that was so clear and slow that you could really speed it up. So I listened to like a 3.5 hour audiobook in an hour and 15 minutes. It was so good. I don't know if I'm supposed to be creeped out by it, because I am, but it was also kind of fun, but also terrifying. I don't know if that's just because the narrator sounded exactly like the narrator that narrates It, the Stephen King novel, because the guy who takes the kids on the journey or whatever, his voice sounds exactly like Pennywise the clown, and that terrifies me. So jury's still out on that one, but it was great. It gave me all the creepy Halloween vibes that I was wanting. Anyways, this is where we end the reading for this 24-hour readathon, technically 25-hour readathon, because I went an hour over, but that's totally fine, and I'm super glad with all that I read. So I started off with reading Agatha Christie's Halloween Party, which I gave 2.5 stars. It was enjoyable, in a way, intriguing and entertaining, and I'm glad I read it to say I've read another Christie. That's about it. Then I read a really cute graphic novel that I gave 4 stars, and that was Beetle and the Hollow Bones by Eliza Lane. Today I listened to The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde, which I gave 3 stars, and then I finished The Witches of New York, which is my read that I have been reading for roughly a week now, and I absolutely love that one. Gave that one 5 stars. And then I started Dracul, which I'm still 66 pages into and really excited to keep going to see how spooky the vibes can get. And then I read or listened to The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury, which I am giving 4 stars because that was very good, but a severe lack of women in that book. Like, no women, no girls at all. None. Not a one. So that was kind of sad. I think that's like one of my only criticisms for the book, is that there's no women in it. Because it was fun. It was super Halloweeny and creepy. It had the creepy vibes, so that's great. So that was my Halloween 24-hour readathon. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna end this vlog here because tomorrow is November 1st, and you guys know November 1st means NaNoWriMo, and I'm not prepared. I feel like NaNoWriMo should be like a month away still, but it's here. It is upon us. So I will be vlogging my escapades with that. So I will see you again tomorrow, but I will see you in another vlog very soon, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading. And happy Halloween!